Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Analog Diaries. Today we are doing something really, really fun. I know a number of you recently watched me walk through and set up this Hobonichi hybrid ring setup, and that video did exceptionally well, and so I ended up receiving quite a few comments and questions about how I made my inserts, how I sized them, and the like. So I am currently working on making my inserts for November for both myself and for a friend. And so I thought it might be fun to go ahead and walk y'all through what that process looks like. In just a moment, we'll cut to me on Canva, walking you through how I design my inserts, and then towards the end, I'll walk you through how I make the physical pages themselves. I do want to let everybody know that I am about to show you how to size inserts yourself from scratch in the case that I do not have a template that suits you. However, up on my Patreon for free is a series of templates for the personal size, for the pocket size, and for this custom Hobonichi A6-ish size. And so that'll cut out quite a bit of work for anyone who would like to grab that. It is free of charge, and so please use what resources are available to you. But in the case that you are printing on A4 paper or printing a different size of insert, I will show you how to make the sizing template yourself as well. Uh, Additionally, I do now have the A6 size, the pocket size, and the personal size ready to go for the November Patreon subscribers. And so if anyone is interested in getting these inserts specifically, wherein I've approximated the Hobonichi weekly setup, but for a rings planner, you are welcome to grab that there. It's for a very nominal price, and you can just purchase 1 month, download what you need, and that can be it. But yes, so I will take you all over to my computer now. All right, so welcome to Canva. The very first step is setting up your sheet that you will be printing on. The way I will always do this is I will go ahead and make myself an 8.5 by 11 canvas, and then I will add my grid to it. This grid I have made myself, and it is available for download on my Patreon in the case that you like it. But there are a series of websites where you can download different templates, create templates of your own with different ruling, lined, dotted, gridded, all of it's fair game. Just make sure that you have a background you like and that it fits the size of your sheet. And then once it's on there, you're going to go ahead and hit lock to make sure that it can't be moved around while you do other things. And then you're going to go back in to Canva. You're going to hit custom size. And then you're going to go ahead and place in your dimensions for your insert size. So for example, pocket size inserts are 8.1 by 12 centimeters. And so then you're going to hit create a new design and it will make you a canvas that is exactly the size of your insert. Just give it a moment. And what I will do once that is ready is I will grab myself a square of some contrasting color to my background. So my background is white, so I can use pretty much any color. And I will take this and I will resize it to match this canvas. What I've essentially done here is I've made myself a colored square template of this size that is exactly the same size as my insert. This I can then copy and paste into my letter-sized sheet that is, again, the size of whatever I'm printing on. For me, that's letter size. For you, it may be A4 or something else. And you'll see it has retained that initial dimension of, well, it was the same dimension until I just changed it. So make sure you're not changing things, but it will retain your dimension when you paste it in. And so this here is pocket sized, and I, for one, am aware that pocket size can fit 5 inserts per sheet. And so go ahead and play around with whatever dimensions you have. Try and fit as many pages as you can in, just for sake of not wasting paper and the like. And what you will do is you'll go ahead and lay those out. And then once you have them in, you just go ahead and show you for demo's sake. You are going to take a dashed line from Canva's elements. I like to make sure that this is nice and thin, and dotted just because it matches my grid a little bit better in the case that I don't cut it perfectly. And you're going to make your cut lines. So these cut lines are going to show you where to cut once your pages are printed. And you're just going to go ahead and line them up with your boxes like so. And you want to make sure that you have cut lines for every single line that you're going to need to cut. All right. And so once you're finished, it'll look something like this, and you can go ahead and delete these colored placeholders. And now you have a really nice clean template where you have empty space to create your inserts. What mine looks like once it's all cleaned up is this, and what you'll see I have done is I've gone ahead and taken all these lines and I have lowered the transparency just so that they blend in a little more in the case, oh, that's a little too much. Often I will make the transparency somewhere between 20 and 30, and this makes it so that, again, if I mistakenly don't cut perfectly, the lines don't show up too much and they're not too intrusive. And so then my template will look something like this, and what you can do is go ahead and download your template as a PDF. And so again, I have mine pre-made, and so it's pre-downloaded. So you're going to open, again, a blank sheet of paper. You can load in your template once it's downloaded, which, by the way, for those of you that don't know, you can hit share, download, and then PDF print. And that is the easiest way to go ahead and print that and save that for printing. And what you will do is then you can upload it back in, and you will have a usable template every single time you need to make an insert. One point of note is that when printing, your printer will always flip things horizontally. And so if you're trying to make sure that things are front and back, you want to make sure, especially in asymmetrical templates like this one, that you are flipping every other page horizontally. This makes sure that this page right here lines up with this one, and when you cut, the front and back lines up correctly. If you skip this step, the backs of all your pages will not look correct. And you'll end up with pages cut in half and ugly, and your numbered pages won't match. So make sure that you're doing that every single time. Then, inside that template, you can go ahead and create whatever insert you're looking to make. This is my Hobonichi style vertical weekly. For those of you that are interested in this, it is listed on my Patreon. But what I've done here is I've gone ahead and created this using a series of lines and boxes and text from Canva. It takes quite a while, but it is pretty user-friendly and doable, just tedious. And once you are done with that, you can go ahead and get ready to print. Once again, we want to make sure that our fronts and backs are lined up. For example, we have the 30th, the 31st, the 1st, and the 2nd, and the back of this sheet, if we imagine it flipped, would be this right here. And so we want to make sure that the 2nd then moves into the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, etc. So be really thoughtful about your fronts and backs if you're making ordered inserts. Then what you can do is, once again, download it as a print PDF file. This is my November dated weekly pocket, and you can go ahead and get ready to print. In your printing settings, you also have to make sure that your printer is not going to adjust any of the sizing. So you want to make sure that the scale is fit to page width and the margins are none. Otherwise, your printer will create blank margins and it will downsize your inserts slightly. It's not a big deal if this happens, but they won't match the rest of your inserts perfectly, and so you want to make sure that you're clicking none. And then you can go ahead and print. So I'm going to get this printed off, and I will see you guys back at my desk to cut, punch, and assemble. All right, so welcome back. Now that we have our inserts printed, we are going to cut them apart and get them punched for our books. All of the supplies that I'm using today I will link down below, and it's pretty cheap and not super taxing. What I have in front of me is a corner puncher, a ring binder hole punch, and a paper cutter. The paper cutter is optional. You can use a ruler and an X-Acto knife. However, I am notoriously bad at straight lines, and I find that this is easier, and so a paper cutter is very handy. But again, scissors, a knife, anything works. Right. So the first step is to go ahead and get your sheets nice and lined up and cut off that first top cut. What I like to do is cut my pages apart, and then from there go ahead and cut the individual. How do I explain this? What I like to do is go ahead and cut the margins out, and then go ahead and do each individual sheet. It looks like I have already managed to make a less than perfectly straight line, and so we will do that once more. You are watching in real time why I need a paper cutter and cannot use a knife. And this does not need to be perfect if it doesn't bother you. However, I am just a little neurotic about this, and so I will be doing it the way I please. Right. Just make sure that I'm cutting through correctly on the other sheet. And you have seen immediately why it's good to make sure your pages are lined up. I have managed to cut this sheet in half incorrectly, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. I will remake that later off screen. Make sure that my agenda pages are good, and it looks like they are. The rest of them are less than good, but that is workable. I'm suffering from a little bit of performance anxiety doing this on camera today. I have never managed to cut through a full sheet of inserts like that. I wonder if maybe they are lined up incorrectly. Interesting. Looks like my design may not be quite flipped correctly. I will have to check the printer settings, but that is a good reason to always do a test print. Appears I have miscut some of these. Interesting. It looks like my template is a little less than perfect, so there will be some iterating to do, but that is fine for now. Alright, and for some reason this is upside down. Is that true? It's true for all of them. Okay, so it appears that I have some sort of printer issue, which is quite strange because it's only happened to some of my inserts and not all. And so sometimes strange things will happen and you will just need to fix it and iterate. But for now, let's just go ahead and finish the demo with the two that came out correctly. So what we have here is two inserts that came out correct, as well as a series of A6 sized ones that are perfect because I have gotten lots of practice with these. And so I will just finish our demo with these and know that sometimes things will be imperfect, but everything will be cleaned up before I get anything posted to Patreon, so no worries. Alright, what I like to do next is go ahead and get all of our holes punched. The hole puncher I use is this one. I believe I bought it on Amazon a number of months ago, and if I can find the same one, I will share it. If not, I'll send y'all a link and approximation. And let's go ahead and get punching. Alright, so it is becoming increasingly clear to me that my pocket template needs work. For one, my holes for the Monday side is supposed to be on this end, but if I were to punch there, I would be punching on the wrong margin of the Thursday sides, so I need to adjust my template. And so we are going to set these aside, and I will continue the demo on the A6 ones that are correct. It is most certainly a learning process for everyone. And now that everything is punched, I often will go in and round the corners of every insert. This just adds a little decorative element and softens the look of the pages in my notebook, but this is most definitely an optional aesthetic decision, and so feel no pressure to do the same for your own books. This is just a personal preference, unless you know you like it. Alright, and so now I'm just going to go ahead and get these ordered, and we'll set them into my planner. 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 20, 27. This goes in the front, and then goes all of my blank sheets. Alright. And that is my inserts for this upcoming November. It seems that I will be remaking my pocket size inserts for my friend, and I will also be updating that on Patreon. And so, yes, accidents happen. It can be a learning curve. Don't get discouraged. This is most definitely a tedious process, but once you have your template all hammered out, it is very easy to keep adding in new things every couple weeks. Case in point, my custom size was really easy for me to do, and the pocket size is still a little bit of a pain point, but I will get that all updated and squared away. I'll make sure my templates are good to go for you all in the description box and in my Patreon. But yes, thank you all so much for watching. It's a shorter video this week, but I am looking forward to doing a little bit more of a longer, more involved catch-up next week. Alright, bye!